So now here's where the problem with the whole structure of using informants and just the whole way criminal justice is structured. The $9 million he was stealing were from cash transfers of money launderers. So you get a call from an informant. Hey, this group is given $20 million or $5 million, whatever, to be laundered to these bankers. And a DA intercedes and grabs the money. Whoever gave the tip may get up to a third of the money. So think about that. I could pose as a money launderer, or I could work as a money launderer, right? And then now when I want to get out of I could know you're sending me $20 million, but I'm having you deliver it to some certain address and some other person, and I turn that into an agent. I get legal protection for myself, and I get a third, up to a third, maybe 10%, 15%. That's negotiated separately each time. I get a bigger, like I might only be charging them 5% to launder the money. I'm going to get 10 to 30% of it for turning it in. And this Irizarry guy was stealing, so they would say, okay, it's going to be a $6 million drop. Well, we're going to tell the DEA it's $5.5 million. We're going to take $500,000. Law enforcement steals a lot. You steal a little bit, and who's going to turn it in? Recently, I was doing some research on kidnapping stuff. Cavario's uncle, a guy I interview often if you don't know who he is, he was kidnapped back in the 90s, and I found the indictment of the guys who kidnapped him, and it referenced the kidnapping of Cavario's uncle. And the amount of money Cavario said they had to turn in was a little bit, it wasn't much more, it's like maybe an extra 100,000 or 50,000 more than what it said in the indictment. But I was like, oh, well, there's proof, some cop pocketed something. But back what I was talking about, this Irizarry guy was an agent. He bought $1 million home in Cartagena, Colombia. He bought his wife $50,000 in jewelry. He was flying with Louis Vuitton luggage and big gaudy jewelry. Did nobody in the DEA notice? In his home in Cartagena, now mind you, this is a guy who makes base salary, say 80 grand, even with overtime. What are you going to make, 150,000? And you're not going to make that much. And you're paying taxes. This isn't street money. Why does he have $1 million home in Cartagena, Colombia? And the people that were visiting his home, other DEA agents, supervisors, nobody asked any questions? Or was he letting them wet their beak? Or if they thought, oh, he's just taking a little something and he's the guy that pays for that. Listen, it's amazing when you're corrupting people who only make 80, 100,000 a year. You take them to a strip club and drop a couple thousand twice a year. You buy them and their wife some tickets to Disneyland once a year. Like, you don't have to give them vast sums of money. Regular people, even with a decent job, don't usually have, they can't spend $3,000 in a night. We're from watching TV shows and listening to these rap songs, we get immunized to, you think, oh, a couple grand ain't nothing. Well, how many people really have $2,000 to spend in a club? I mean, to hang out in nightclubs in big cities is a lot of damn money. Just to be in a club, much less you want to have women, you're buying women and hotel room. To fly into L.A., get a couple hotel rooms, have a rental car, have some little security guy go around with you, pop some bottles at some club. I mean, you could run through 20 and have women. I mean, a couple guys could run through $20,000 smooth and easy in 2 days without even feeling like they did anything too wild. The liquor will kill you in the clubs. To get attention in an LA club, you have to buy what's called a coffin. That's when you get 10 bottles at once. So you're talking $7,000, $6,000, $8,000. I mean, I would buy my little $700 bottle of vodka with my little sparkler. Or no, you don't even get a sparkler. You buy a bottle of Tito's for $700 in a club in LA, you don't even get a sparkler. They'd bring it to you. You don't get a table. You don't even get any attention from the slores. You don't get no sparkler. Imagine paying an adult male DEA agent throwing his whole life and career away so he could have sparklers at the club. That's what it comes down to. Human beings are something else. So that Irizarry down there in Cartagena, one of the visitors to his home was a black woman from Cleveland who was an attorney. So she's, just in the course of, I don't know what she was doing down there, she ends up getting nominated to be the first black female U.S. attorney in that Cleveland region, which is a big, northern Ohio is one of America's big population centers. She mysteriously had to withdraw from consideration when Irizarry was arrested because he probably gave information on her, maybe not doing anything too horrible because they would have indicted her, but you're going to be a U.S. federal prosecutor. You can't, oh, yeah, I was at a corrupt DEA agent's party and I did a little ecstasy and I only did one line. Like, obviously that wouldn't look good. So corruption on our side of the border is a huge problem. And just the nature of all this illicit money floating around, the insatiable desire of Americans and others is, when you understand the pipeline from the source countries to the street corner, the proverbial final sale in the U.S., right? From farm to arm, they call it, or from the field to a dime bag. Basically, to manufacture and produce any of these substances effectively is zero. Kilo of yay all in as far as raw production costs in the jungle is $1,000 or less. So really all the money that's built into it is middlemen and corruption along the way. A lot for that. By the time a brick is, let's just say it's 40%, let's see, so that would give you 2.5 times 40,000. Oh yeah, that's 100,000. So by the time a brick is 40% and it's 40 a gram, that means you're making 100,000 off a gram by, let's just say, or a kilo by the time it's sold in the streets in America. That made $1,000 turn into 100,000.